This is how we functioned and programmed where I was at. I was on High Desert, level 4, 180 design. I told you guys before, we're under the gunner, being escorted everywhere we go, you know what I'm saying? So it's a very secure environment. So our rules are pretty much like everybody else's rules that are on the yard. Things like checking paperwork, mandatory yard, always walking, in pairs, making sure that we're posting up security, the whole nine. So this is how you come out every day when you're on one of these yards, okay? So as soon as they release yard, again, like I said, it's mandatory that you hit the yard. You're gonna come out of your cell with your clothes in your hand, all right? And you're gonna be wearing nothing but your boxers and your shoes. So you'll walk up to the officer with your clothes and you'll hold your clothes out to the officer. He's gonna wand your clothes, then you're gonna set your clothes down either on the bench or on the table, and then he's gonna wand your mouth in your throat area, and if you got hair, he'll wand your hair, all that. And then you're gonna turn around, you're gonna bend over for him, and he's gonna wand your asshole. He's gonna wand your shoes. So then you grab your shit, and then you're gonna try to put your clothes on before you get to the yard. You gotta walk through the rotunda. That's basically how we go out. And when you go through the rotunda, you're under the gunner. It's all glass in the hallway, in the rotunda. So as you're walking through the rotunda, the gunner is walking above you. He can pop one of those things open at any minute, drop some tear gas on us, bust a couple shots on us, whatever, So he's always on us. The gunner is always on us. So we get outside, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna wait for the homies that are coming out of the building and make sure they're getting out of the building okay. So when they come out, we'll all go head to the fucking tables, and what we do is we go over there and we greet each other. We kind of check in with each other. We find out what's on the agenda for the day. As we're doing that, we're also watching the yard and making sure everybody is where they're supposed to be and people are programming. One thing that I don't know if people have mentioned, but I've noticed when I was on this yard is that it's always quiet on this yard. I've been on the lower levels and, it's just constant chaos, people running back and forth, people screaming, yelling, all this crazy ass shit. But on these particular yards, it's quiet. You know what I mean? But it's not to the point where it's dead silent. If it's dead silent, then it's about to crack, okay? But it's quiet to a low level where people are just kind of keeping their voices down and they're kind of just like respecting other people. So it's really that's how the yard is. But if it's dead silent, it's gonna crack. So one of the main things that we all got to do is we got to make sure that everybody is programming, everybody is where they're supposed to be, because if they're not where they're at, where they were yesterday, then something's wrong. You know what I mean? So you just got to pay attention. You'll start feeling the feeling. You can actually feel tension in the air. You can tell. So that's one thing we do is we make sure that everything's, pretty much running smooth. If there's no issues within the car that we need to address, then pretty much we'll go ahead and just start programming. So some of us will go to work out and some of us will stay at the table. And pretty much how we do it is we'll go get our workout in, and those other homies that we left at the table, they hold the table down. They make sure that no one runs up on our area or anything like that. Their job is pretty much to hold the table down until we're done working out. Once we're done working out, we'll go back to over to the tables, and then that group will go over to the bars and work out. And so there's always somebody posted up, holding the tables down. We also post security just like everybody else. We walk in pairs wherever we go. No one walks solo. We always post up security whenever we're working out or playing basketball or playing handball or whatever. There's always somebody watching the yard, making sure that everything's still running smooth and making sure nothing's going to go down. So every time we go out to yard, I think everybody feels this way. We never can make it through a whole fucking yard, you know what I mean? But we get pretty close. One of the most dangerous times on yard is about 15 minutes to yard recall. From 15 minutes all the way to yard recall, it is probably the most dangerous time, where you really got to be paying attention, because that's when shit seems to kick off. You'll end up seeing a car end up cleaning house on the yard. They'll be sticking one of their own people on the yard or whatever, or it's going to crack between two races or whatever. But yeah, that little time from when you're going to go back into your cell from the yard is when it cracks off. There was a time that we were lining up and getting wanted and searched to go in, and I watched a motherfucker get stabbed in the neck right there where we were about to go in. So like I said, it's the most dangerous time is when you're returning back to your cell. And then once you get back in your cell, it's pretty much like this. So that's pretty much how we programmed on this motherfucking yard. So they're serious on these levels and on these type of yards. So if you don't want to fucking go through shit like that, you don't want to get butt naked and have a cop wanting your ass or anything like that, or having to worry every fucking day if you're going to make it back into your cell, or just end up catching a life sentence and having to live on one of these fucking yards, then you know what it is. Stay the fuck out of trouble.